J-Lo and Elena and Carmen. Hey, Terry. Lisa. Hope everybody's doing okay. Square peg. No, it's not super late. It's 8 o'clock here, but hi, Linda, Marie. So I finally got some time to come on and do a live. Hey, Angela and Casey, Anita, Debbie, Wellbeing, Delilah. Sorry about that. Hey, Impish. Oh, 1 second. Okie dokie. So, hey, Judy. So, stuff has been crazy over here, so I haven't had much time to go on the YouTubes. And I hope my current setup, because I'm downstairs on my couch right now when I'm doing this. Hey, Square Peg. Thank you so much. So hopefully this whole situation will work out. So hope everybody's doing well. Hey, Janie de los Santos, muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much. Hope this setup works out. I'm using the tiny baby cards that Johnny got me a while back. So, yep. Hey, Sunflower, how are you? Hey, sweet darling Lulu. Oh, yeah. What a bang, huh? I'm living for it. I'm like, keep it coming. Keep it coming. I saw on the, you're doing good, Sunflower? Good to hear. Good to hear. I saw on the Twitter, and I let Jenny know, Jenny and Johnny, I let them know that one of the lawyers for the Oath Creepers, what was her name? Hold on. Kelly, it's spelled Kellye. And I guess her last name is Sorrell, capital S, and then an O, and then a capital Relle. So her name, I think, might be pronounced Kelly Sorrell. Well, she's the attorney for the Oath Creepers, and she's just been arrested for conspiracy and obstruction of justice. So that's nice. Hey, Joanne, how are you? So nice to see you. Yeah, so there's supposed to be a heat wave this weekend over here. And I don't know. I checked my local weather app on my phone, and it said over here today by our house, it was like 79 degrees. But then I went like 7.5 miles inland, and it went from 79 to like 87, only going 7 miles east. Like, I was like, oh, hey, Jenny. So I keep getting emails from San Diego Gas and Electric saying to conserve energy this weekend, to not use like your oven or your dishwasher or washer and dryer or anything like that until after 9 p.m. Which I don't anyways, because usually like the big appliances, like when I do laundry and stuff or run the dishes, I do it at night. I set the timer on my appliances and do it at night after midnight when the rates are cheaper, But yeah, so, and then it kind of sprinkled a little bit today for like 3 seconds. So there was like 7 drops of water that fell from the sky, and then that was it. So, hey, Sunflower, thank you so much. So I don't know. If it gets hot, I'll just like go to the bookstore and hang out in there where it's air conditioned, because the bookstore is like 0.96 miles from my house. So we'll just go there and hang out because the Barnes and Nobles has a cafe in there. So I'll just go hang out in there. So, yep. It's raining in Denver. Wow. Send some of it my way. Oh, you needed it? Well, that's good, Sunflower. It's just been crazy here all week. And when I thought I was going to go live, I couldn't go live. So it's been a little nuts. So, yeah. Just a little bit crazy. So, I reached my reading goal, you guys. I had set a goal to read 100 books this year. I am currently I have completed 102 books. This one right here, this is my 103rd that I'm like 25% through it. Let me see. I'm like that much into it. So about 25% through this one. And then there's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 more books in this series that I need to get. So I think I'll surpass my goal. So I'm excited about that. So East County has been hot. I believe it. I believe it, Marie. I don't go to East County at all. I don't, nope. I stay by the coast. 100 degrees in Nevada? Yeah, no. No. That's too much. That's too much. That's uncomfortable. I mean, over here where I'm at, we've had it pretty mild this year, but it was weird because the marine layer kind of hung around a lot all through June and July. So like a bunch of my stuff, my garden outside, like my zinnias and my tomato plants, because of the marine layer, and I guess there was humidity. I didn't feel it. Everything, all of my stuff got powdery mildew this year. Like all of my zinnias have powdery mildew. So I have to go out there tomorrow and rip all of it out. And I think it's too early to do the ranunculus, the buttercups this year. It's still too early. So I think I'm just gonna fix the soil and all that stuff and get it prepped for when I do throw the ranunculus in at the end of September. But yeah, it's just everything. My tomatoes got powdery mildew. Like everything got powdery mildew. So it's been crap. But we did get quite a bunch of tomatoes. Like the powdery mildew was just like on the leaves and stuff. So I sprayed it with this stuff I got at the garden center that they gave me, like some sort of copper spray thing that you hook up to the hose. And it sprays it with copper. So that took care of all the powdery mildew on the tomatoes. And then I whacked all the leaves off of it. So it was just like sticks with tomatoes growing out. There was like no green on those poor plants. They looked so raggedy, but they made a bunch of fruit. And but when I sprayed it on my zinnias, it just killed them. Hey, Justin, how you doing? So I'm just gonna rip out my zinnias and hope for the best. And I've been asking Peanut for like the longest time. I've been telling him that for my birthday, because he's like, where do you want to go to eat, or what do you want? And And I just tell him, I was like, I just want I want a pomegranate tree for my birthday. And so we went to Armstrong and we found at the nursery, we found a pomegranate tree, but it was like $75 and the tree wasn't that big. Well, he was talking to one of his friends, and his friend told him that he has another friend that knows a guy that runs a nursery, and that's where he's been getting all his stuff from. And he sent us pictures of the pomegranate trees that the guy has at his nursery, and they were like already a very nice size, and they were already fruiting. And he was selling them for $45 instead of $75. So I told Peanut, I was like, I just want a pomegranate tree for my birthday. That's all I want. Because I love pomegranates. I will eat that all the time, but they're so expensive. It's like, one pomegranate, it's like $7. So I'm excited to get a pomegranate tree. So that's what I know my birthday's like a month away, but I don't care. I'm already planning. I was scoping out the yard and I was like, okay, I'm going to dig a hole here, so I'm excited to get a pomegranate tree. It's like the little things, it's only the little things that bring a smile to my face. I don't need grand gestures. So yeah, you guys give me a second. I'm going to get up and walk around because I'm sitting on my couch and I'm like in the crack of the couch. Let me see if you guys can see. Let me pull this up. See, there's my setup. There's a monkey's butt right there. Little monkey butt. There's my coffee, my water, and then, pen and stuff. So I'm over here in the crack. I'm in the crack. So let me get up real quick. Becca's a hole digger, not a gold digger. That's right, Jenny. I'm a hole digger. I'm going to go out there and dig a big ass hole. I'm going to go out there and dig a big ass hole to put my pomegranate tree inside. And I was reading up on it and it said you have to deep water it for the first 2 months. And then after that, it's fairly drought resistant. Because I guess pomegranates are native to, I think Iran. Is it Iran or Iraq? They're native to the Middle East. So, and then when the Moors and the Arabs they went into Spain through the top of Morocco and in through the Strait of Gibraltar into Spain, they introduced pomegranate, and that's why there's a part of Spain that's called Granada. Granada in Spanish means pomegranate, so that whole portion of Spain is for the pomegranates. So, what? Dig like you're burying Ivana? No, Jenny, no. That's just mean. No. So, Jenny, you're so bad. And that's why I love you. That's why I love you, Jenny, because you're so bad. I'm lighting my little candle. So in my mind, even though we're about to have a heat wave this weekend, in my mind, it's like it's already fall, even though we don't really get much of a fall here anyways, but, Alrighty. Let's see if I can get comfortable. I got to straddle this little table. Ugh. Oh, hey, lucky girl. So let's see what we got. Right off the bat, ship is in its own house, coffin in its own house, stars in its own house, fish in its own house in this tableau. Give me 1 second. 17, 27, 3, 22, 24, 5, 26, 8, 21, 30, 6, 12, 29, 35, 33, 16, 7, 25, 10, 36, 1, 31, 2, 19, 11, 25, 18, 14, 4, 32, 23, 13, 20, 34, 9, 15. Okay, so ship and house, ship, coffin and house, coffin, stars and house, stars, and fish in house, fish. Alrighty. Let me see if I can move this up. It's gonna cut off the it's cutting off. Hold on, let me see if I can move this. 1 second, please. This way. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, so starting off the tableau, news of a move of documents or results that were transitioned and moved somewhere else far away. Also, news of a change or an upgrade to the results in the transition for the election this way. Where's Tower? Okay. And then in the corner, change or progress ends right here, and his innocence is disputed. Central to the reading is birds, woman, cross, and writer. So there is a conversation or a meeting or some sort of a negotiation with a woman that delivers some very, very, very difficult news, and it's not a win for him in the court. So this is looking like legal issues. Where's 19? Right here. So he's all the way at the bottom of the tableau, meaning he's not in a good position. He's got all of this stuff here on his, weighing on him. So currently down his line is letter, lilies, ring, and man. So perhaps results that he's trying, not necessarily delay, but slow down. A decision from a person that is senior, because Lily's is sitting on house scythe, awaiting the decision on a person that is senior or wise, to make a decision that will result in a resolution for him, because he sees this person as being friendly. Ring in the house of dog. But this revolves around a decision from this person. Now, this is the king of spades, king of clubs, jack of diamonds, queen of hearts, queen of clubs here. So we're looking at quite possibly two women involved, in two women that are in some sort of senior position, waiting on their decisions, as well as quite possibly two other men. So this can be in regards to some legal stuff that's going on with him, because he's got scythe sitting in the house of tower, legal decisions. Okay. Now, this doesn't show delay because mountain is back here, but this line right here, it's talking about delaying things from moving forward, because here's the storks followed by mountain, blocking progress, blocking things from moving forward, and chronic troubles and chronic lying. That's behind him. What's currently his present line is awaiting a decision from a judge, or judges, I should say, man, man, woman, woman. And this sits on house scythe. These people, he's awaiting on decisions from here. Okay. Will it work out in his favor? That decision here is followed by scythe. No. Now, I know that there's the entire issue right now with him trying to get special counsel over the classified documents that were taken from Mar-a-Lago. I'm wondering how that would show up. Special counsel. Well, this would be someone, a man. Doesn't necessarily mean it is a man. I'm just looking at the King of Spades here. That is wiser, that advises, that is trustworthy. So it could be this person, but there's confusion and trouble here. This is talking about sorrow this way, bad news this way, accidents on your path this way. And clouds is sitting on house whip, so it's chronic trouble, chronic trouble. And the shady side of the dark side of the clouds is facing him. Things clear up this way. So if I had to venture, just based on this little cluster, if I'm interpreting it correctly, it doesn't look like this goes in his favor, if that makes sense. He knights here to cross, he knights to fish, he knights to mountain. So obstructing and delaying, under a lot of pressure, obstructing and delaying, huge problems. Cross is sitting on house garden. There is an organization and a network of people, a large party of people that are suffering right now. Or so this could be in regards to Trump.org, the RNC, anywhere where there is a large body. And then man knights here to fish in its own house, independence, but also because the line of fate has all the money cards, the organization itself. So Trump.org, or any money that he's raised, perhaps for rallies or anything like that, where there's a large body of people and an audience, huge problems for that, because the line of fate is talking about financial rewards and a lot of money coming in. But that the finances suffer significantly. And the answers to that organization for the finances is resolved, and that doesn't look good, because we're seeing a lot of closures and endings and ruin here with coffin in its own house. There is also something on this column here far away from him, because from where he sits, this is September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Around March, there's a lot of stuff that happens for him in the courts this way. Let me see. Now, also, there's another problem here. Moving, documents, transferring to multiple locations. The crossroads is sitting on house, multiple homes, multiple properties here. So what they found at Mar-a-Lago, that might not be the only stash, because here it says moving, paperwork, transfer, and then there's several transfers here. Okay, so and this sits in house. So moving paperwork to different properties. Also, because this is also the card of elections, there's something going on here with in regards to changing the results and transferring something in regards to the election and the phone calls that were had there. There is a phone call and a meeting that took place with several people. Birds sits in house birds. Oh, that's another one I missed. Birds and house birds. So meetings, negotiations, conversations. So 2 columns ahead, we're seeing quite possibly more stuff around the January 6th committee because, like I said, Cross sits in House Garden. So again, 2 months ahead, something. I know that the January 6th hearings are supposed to start back up again, but there's something in regards to more information that comes out in regards to the phone calls that were had, particularly with a woman here, a woman that is very naive. She sits in House Child. She is persistent. She has answers and access to a widespread, vast network of people. This woman also has health issues. Clouds would be pulmonary. Here could be the heart as well, perhaps something with the arteries and the heart here. But this is someone that spoke on the phone, and this person made several phone calls because she had access to something very widespread. So I'm not quite sure who this is. I don't know if this is Jenny Thomas. She had something to do here with travel, knowledge and stuff here about classified information. Very precise, but also very cutting. And this person has ties to another person that makes decisions in court and a law, Scythe in the House of Tower. A woman that is lucky or takes a gamble, but that gamble is diminishing because there's evidence here for her, on her. And there's also something here about where this woman may have had access to financing, large amounts of financing and power. So I'm not sure if this is Jenny Thomas, because from him to her, it's man, Lily's, woman, house. So him, Trump, a wise mentor, someone older, her, and then the house goes back to her. So I'm not sure if this is in regards to Jenny Thomas, because she's in the family with this person, if I interpret this as a man, King of Spades. But that comes up 3 columns ahead. So let's see. There is a problematic agreement that he is in that gets cut off through a decision in court. And then there's an argument with him and some sort of an advisor that worked in his administration very closely. This person, this close advisor that worked with him in his administration, I'm thinking perhaps this is Mark Meadows, simply because he's got garden sitting below. So garden, an open grassy area, fish, a lot of open grassy areas. So Meadows, quite possibly, but it's a person that worked in the administration. So I'm thinking that might be Mark Meadows. I could be wrong. Dog is sitting in House Letter. This person had documents, messages, results, tests, mail. Okay. And he's got Scythe sitting right over his head. This person here is looking to weasel out of something and perhaps manipulate Trump. Fox sits in House Man because he's looking for freedom and independence. This person here. He knights to writer. So this person is a person that puts out the news or delivers information. Where that information was obstructed or delayed, it moves forward. He delivered something. Okay. He knights here to Bouquet. This person rewarded something to get himself out of trouble. He knights to Lily's. He made a wise decision, but he was part of those negotiations and those phone calls in regards to the elections here and the transfer this way. Also, results. If these are the election results here with letter, knights down to snake, it knights down here to scythe. The false fake electors, the choices and the decisions that were had in that meeting with the false and fake electors. But if this is Mark Meadows, that shows up next month around October, or whoever this person is. I just think it might be Meadows because of the 2 cards right below him. Let's see. What else can I get out of this? So Spanky to the courts. It doesn't look good for him. Delays are behind him. So as far as this goes, the corners are talking about progress and change that ends. Okay. This is an action card. And over here, it's an action card with the whip, broom and whip. So whatever strategies he's had, Fox in the House of Man, to weasel out of things and go fall back on his MO to delay, it still moves forward. There's change and progress here. Improvements come to an end. It doesn't improve for him. And his innocence is debated. New trouble, new fights this way. And then this person right smack dab in the middle of everything. And she sits on house child. New woman, younger woman, naive woman. She could be a mother. And then here it's talking about a very passionate woman visits the administration this way. Or delivers news to the administration. So I'm thinking I think that this may be Ginny Thomas. I could be wrong. Let me see here. The classified documents. Okay, we're going to look at book because this is classification and secrets. Okay, so secrets inside of a box. Secrets that are around some sort of technology, like in a server or a hard drive or a thumb drive or something like that, because this is a lucky token, and this would be like a key. So right here, like some sort of a thumb drive or something like that you can easily pick up. Thumb drive, iPad. It's not a phone because phone is over here. So there may be something on a thumb drive perhaps inside of a box or in a drawer or somewhere dark, in a drawer, under a bed, in a box, but it's on a thumb drive. It's electronic. You plug it into something. Some of that is missing this way, missing or stolen. Government secrets this way, something about a library. The secrets come to light or are exposed. It's triumphant, but also secrets and information and knowledge about energy. This right here, sun knighting to stars, nuclear energy, vast, wide, metastasizing like the stars. Government secrets, a library, nuclear energy. This way, a knowledgeable woman or secrets about a woman as well. Younger woman. And she sits on house child. This way it's talking about secrets that are vast and widespread, but also satellites. Well, this is more like satellites in space, imaging. 8-7, and it sits on house snake. That's big trouble. That's huge trouble. So if this is in regards to the classified documents that he stole, because down here, secrets, open, opportunity to steal. This whole entire, if this portion of the tableau is speaking about the recent felonies that he's just committed for stealing the classified documents, that shows up September, October, November, December, January, September, October, November, December, January, February, March is where these two columns are sitting for the classified documents information. If this is the federal government, DOJ, Lord Jesus, he's fucked. He's fucked because his line goes this way. Okay, so he's moving along this side. And then mice takes away from everything to the left. It diminishes from the left, it poops out to the right. Okay, so this would have been in his favor, but it's followed by mice. So there's a judge or some sort of a person in an advisory role, perhaps senior, that does not side with him. He loses here. Moon in the house lilies. He loses here. And then child right here would speak of innocence. It would speak of something new, something at the early stages, at the very beginning. So it looks like the whole classified document stuff doesn't happen for another 5 to 6 months. And then it's like it'll be at the early stages. Because it looks like the case against him is being built. There's a team of people working, building it, if that makes sense. Let's see here, but there's something here, and there's documents that have been moved and transferred to multiple properties. So Tower is sitting in house heart. Okay. And he's got snake right over his head. A lying man here, and trouble for a man. And then here's the public, an audience, a congregation, a party. What's in house? Clover sits in house mice. Mice sits right underneath it. Wow. So secrets accessed, and then opportunity diminishes, or the opportunity to steal something, opportunity to steal. Clover in house mice, followed by mice here in house sun. Stealing energy. There's something about stealing energy. Mice in house sun, stealing energy, stealing success, dwindling success. Optimism that begins to dwindle away. But there's stuff. These two columns, if I'm interpreting it correctly, that looks like it was put on thumb drives or something and stolen. But the court case for that doesn't happen until over here, which I've already talked about. If he is hoping to delay the entire thing through appointing a special masters, that doesn't look like it works in his favor. Because mice is too far away. Whatever he's losing or he's trying to steal or get back is out of reach just by near and far. If mice were closer and behind him, he would be able to get it back. It's too far away. This is very near, far, very far, super far. So he can't get this back. Clouds, cross, fish, mountain. Okay, hold on. Man to mountain, man to clouds, man to what is this? cross mantifish. Now, Scythe is sitting in house Tower. There might be a legal decision that's coming up next month that's going to spell a shit ton of trouble for him. And it's looking like this may be in regards to fake electors, quite possibly, because this is a decision in the courts, Scythe and House Tower, okay? And it shows up in the column next to him. There is the ship somewhere far away. Trouble here. Chronic trouble, chronic confusion, chronic gaslighting, a shitstorm, decisions in the court, and then this person here, a worker, someone that's advising, someone that has something to do with results, dog in the house of letter, and then garden down here in the house of key. So I'm wondering if it's a friend or an ally that worked closely with the administration that's also part of the party. There's something coming up for this person, a legal decision, and it had to do with a phone call this way. Dog knights to birds. It knights here to snake, trouble, and this person is a liar. Dog knights to writer. This person visited or brought news. Dog knights down here to what is this? Bouquet, a bootlicker. So in another sense, not only are we looking at Mark Meadows this way with regards to all that other shit I was talking about, but also quite possibly someone that was close to him that is a bootlicker that was involved in making phone calls. Dog Knights here. This person made phone calls, and he's going to have to go meet with a woman. This person was part of the party, or this person is in a large network of people in a party of some sort, who's a liar, a bootlicker, and they were delivering something to appease Trump. He knights up here to Lily's as well, quite possibly of a veteran status. So we could also be looking at Lindsey Graham next month here in October. And I think Scythe in House Tower is a legal decision and also legal danger, because Scythe is danger, okay? And I believe that the judge just ruled that Lindsey Graham must go speak to, what's her name in Georgia? Fannie Willis. So this might be Lindsey Graham in this other context next month in October. Let's see. There's two people here that are currently on Donald Trump's mind, aside from everything else we've already talked about. Lily's in House Scythe. There's this man, and then there's this man. Clouds in House Whip. Oh boy. But then Lily's knights to Crossroads here, so there's more than one. Oh shit. Okay. Because central to the reading here, we have the birds. The birds is a meeting of people. A meeting of people. It's not a large group like the garden, but it's a group of people. This woman here, the reason I said Jenny Thomas as well could be represented by this woman, because traditionally birds is an older pair, an older man and woman together. And if you follow this line this way, there's a man here with the King of Clubs, and also another man here, King of Spades. This man is senior in some way, senior, wise, makes decisions with Lily's in House Scythe. So we saw Jenny Thomas when we were talking about that other stuff, but she shows up 4 columns this way There's a couple of other women here that he needs to speak to. 2 more. This is doubles and this is a pair. This one, there's one that's closer to home, or because Crossroads sits in house. So perhaps Letitia James, maybe. I'm not sure. And then there's another one here. Well, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. So this woman is investigating. One is investigating Trump. Woman knights to Fox. Fox sits in house man. One is investigating Trump. But then if you follow this line down, business fraud, financial fraud. But there's another one here that's investigating him in regards to fraud that has to do with phone calls in regards to the elections. There's another woman. This one. There's another woman that may have worked in the administration. If I read Fox's work, worked in the administration or has worked closely with the entourage, but there's business here and transactions and independence. So November, December, these columns here, specifically this one here, which would be November. I'm thinking Fannie Willis and also stuff with Letitia James the following month. But this one here, because it has to do with phone calls that were made in regards to the elections. But there's more than one hearing. There's another woman that's looking into stuff about an organization that's a business and gifts of financing. So there's 2 here. And then Jenny Thomas shows up 3 columns ahead. Let's see. This one, we said Mark Meadows and Lindsey Graham this way, reading it in 2 different contexts. These 2 men, though, hold on. There is indictment here, letter and scythe. This way. Letter sits in house house Clover. Scythe sits in house Tower. There's an indictment this way. And then the tip of the scythe points here to Cross, which is in house Garden. So an indictment perhaps to an organization or a large party or a network of people, if that's making any sense. But the scythe is sitting over this person too. So, and it's hard for me to tell who this is. This way it's looking like Mark Meadows, and a different way it's looking like Lindsey Graham. Now, do I think that they would indict Lindsey Graham? I'm not sure. But there's an indictment on this person. Right there. danger in the courts, and then there's the guilt that's being delivered, and it's a big success and a win for the courts this way. And it's someone that was involved, that made some sort of false agreement, lied about an agreement, or agreed to get tangled up in a bunch of shit that has to do with lies to flip something. Snake in the house of storks, lying to flip something. And then there's an indictment here. So I can't tell you who this is. But it shows up in this next column here. So it could be one of the fake electors, which they've been arresting and indicting those people left and right. I don't know who this is, but this person has cross right over their head, and scythe sitting on house tower right over their head. This could also be because scythe is sitting in house tower. What was his name? Jeffrey Clark. You know, it could be any one of those people, because he was part of a network here, and he was in agreement with these people to lie and change the results of something. So this could be like a Jeffrey Clark as well. But it shows up in this next column this way. This person is sacrificed. But he worked with Trump and the administration to steal this way. Okay, so I don't know if this is Jeffrey Clark, Mark Meadows, but this person appears to have worked closely with the administration in a legal capacity to lie about something and change the results for the transition or the transfer as the results of the elections. This column this way. Let me see. This person is in an huge amount of trouble. Clouds sits over this person's head. There's a lot of sorrow for this person, domestic sorrow as well, because access to thievery this way. This person here, whoever gets indicted over here, may speak about conversations with a woman this way, a woman that is part of a pair, not woman, but woman married to someone, part of a pair. Okay. Let me see. And how she had knowledge. This advisor transfer, there's the knowledge and secrets, and then the thieving here. We discussed earlier the accidents on your path and sorrow, continued repeated just discord and fighting, shitstorm for him, because this is him right now. This is just all coming around. Let me see. So let me see. It could also be Rudy Giuliani. Do you see what I'm saying? It's someone that was close to him in an advisory role and worked with him and his administration. So with these two here, Garden and Fish, it could be Mark Meadows. It could be with Fish. This would could also be a person that likes to go out in public, is very social and a drinker. Okay, because he's got whip sitting close by. So this person may have addictions with drinking and being drunk all the time. But it's someone that, it could be a Jeffrey Clark. But it was someone that was very, 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 very close and worked with the administration in the capacity to change and steal the election, false electors, false results here, and lying about the change. Okay. So pick any of those guys, Rudy Giuliani, Jeffrey Clark, Mark Meadows, the other guy whose name sounded like KKK, I couldn't tell you, but it's one of them. And he sits on House Letter. So it could be a person that mailed something, but this person had written correspondence in one way, shape, or form. And there's also records of a conversation or a meeting that was had. Okay. If this is the snake can also be read as a woman because she is the queen of clubs. So this person may have worked close to a woman, dark haired, dark eyed, quite possibly whose name starts with an S, because the snake is anything that winds and coils, necklaces, bracelets, cables, or anything with an S. So we could be looking at someone that was close and partnering with a Sidney Powell, because there's a woman here. So I can't tell you with all certainty who this person is, but it could be a Rudy Giuliani or something like that. Also, for if this is Sidney Powell, she's in a shit ton of trouble as well. But she will flip. She will flip. She sits on house snake, or snake sits on house storks. So she changes. Okay. She will change and flip on somebody, more than likely him, because she sits above him. So she has control over him, and she is on her mind. Do you see what I'm saying? Also, there is, for Trump, huge problems with obstruction this way. He knights here to mountain. He knights here to clouds, big problems, shitstorm, chaos, confusion, hesitation, doubt, trouble, big trouble. And let's see here. Choices and decisions that he's going to have to make in regards to court, but there's charges. It's inevitable. He's linked here. He's got ring sitting over his head. So he is linked this way, even though he may try to break that link one way, shape, or form, because this is an agreement or a link, a promise, but then here it cut. Okay. So he may lie about his involvement or his link and may try to sever it, but it does not work in his favor because he's got these two people here that flip. And then whoever these two people are up here, there's a younger person here and a younger person here as well. And another person down here with fish. So he's got too many people involved to point the finger at anybody else. And also, letter, there's evidence of him. Now, letter knights to birds. This could be voicemail. This could be a conversation that was had, but somehow it has been documented. So we could be looking at his call to the guy in Georgia, the Raffensperger guy, where the dude recorded him. So he can't deny that that wasn't him. It's recorded. So voicemail, voice transcripts, notes and minutes of a meeting. So yeah, he's linked to it all, and he can't get out. So let's see here. Now, I want to look at this woman. I'm telling you, dude, I get a feeling it's like because we've already looked at her, because it's saying there's more than one woman here. Abundance of suffering, and the business is suffering. This is November. This column here is November. So if we're looking at elections up here, okay, writers down here. So writer nights or crossroads nights to writer. So it's almost like once you get past elections, that's when all the news starts to come out. There's going to be trickles, like you're going to hear about this thing right here. And then we hit November here with the elections. So perhaps like right at when is election day? November, what year, what day is it this month? November what? It's almost like right after, that's when they start announcing something else here. That's the guilt of an organization, the guilt of a network of people, the committee. It could also be the committee, usually the 8th. Okay. So it's almost like it's right after that. Then there's more news of something that happened in a meeting that expresses a significant amount of guilt within a network of people or the party itself. It could be the suffering of the Republican Party, because Lily's nights to cross sits on House Garden. So how devastating the elections are for Republicans, but not just Republicans, white nationalist, racist. Lily's has to do with purity. Lily's in this card, even though they look pink, it's associated with purity, white. And then here with cross, the cross is very dogmatic, very just, so white nationalists within the party. The talking points here with birds, the talking points of the Republican Party, that's becoming more and more and more and more extreme. Huge losses there. But it's like once you get past that hurdle of the elections, there's another announcement that comes out that can find people that were involved in the rally or that were in that network, or perhaps a couple of members in the House, Crossroads in the House of House, that are guilty and are going to be investigated because they worked with Trump, and there's evidence of their meetings, either through voicemails or somebody else spoke out, but there's evidence of the meetings. So it's almost like after the elections, we may hear more about sitting members of Congress that were involved, and then the investigations into them, if that makes sense. Am I making sense? And then let me see. Let me see. Give me a second, you guys. I need to stand up because I'm all like curled up over here. And my foot's going, ugh, my foot's going like numb. Hold on. Ow. Alrighty. This woman here sits on house child. I was talking about that earlier. Young, inexperienced. I'm wondering if this is because there's two women here. One here, Queen of Diamonds, and her. This is saying that there's also a pair. Two that work with him that are going to get in a lot of trouble. And it has to do with something that is classified. So September, October, November, December, we could be hearing more news about two women that work with him on his properties that had something to do with paperwork. Let me see. They had something to do with paperwork. So this could be the two lawyers that he has at Mar-a-Lago, the two female lawyers that he has at Mar-a-Lago. One, I don't know which one signed the paper saying we gave you everything. That was a lie. Paperwork is false. It's a lie. Letter knights to snake. So these two are going to be in some trouble and investigations. But these two are central. There's a woman or a pair of women, a meeting with women, smack dab in the middle of the reading, that delivers the guilt, that delivers the suffering, that delivers the punishment. These four right in the middle of the reading. Okay. So, and I mean, they're young. They're not going to spend the rest of their lives in prison. One of them was an OANN news person, and the other one probably got her law degree in a vending machine because she's just the dumbest person I've ever seen in my life. But they deliver a blow, if that makes any sense. But not just that. There's something in the core of this reading that has to do with a few women. It's more than one. There's multiple women involved. One could be married and part of a pair. One here and one here that make decisions. Two that communicate and talk and work in some sort of capacity with him. They were involved in delivering something or transferring something, but they were involved in the delivery of something to a residence, a woman in a residence or close to the residence within the entourage. So one of them has a serious health issue, circulatory of some sort. You see. So ship in its own house, house in its own house, stars in its own house, fish in its own house, birds in its own house. So we're looking at transitions. Commerce as well with ship. Commerce, ruin. So this could have something to do with Trump org shutting down. This is commerce. This is ruin, endings, losses, grief. So an ending to some sort of commerce. The stars in its own house. That is guidance. That's a new path. Success. It's the internet. Something very vast. So we could be also looking at vast losses in commerce, widespread vast losses in commerce and business and entrepreneurship here with the fish. And also birds sits in its own house. Birds has to do with its stress, its gossip, its phone calls, conversations, meetings, oral communication. So this tableau for the next year looks like significant widespread losses in commerce and business when people start talking. When you start hearing and people start talking. birds, knights here to ring. A promise to meet, a promise to talk, a promise to negotiate. And then it's ring, scythe, snake. If you look at this line right here, snake, ring, scythe, and cross. Okay? False agreement, broken, punished. So with this, an agreement to speak here, and then this line, false agreement, broken, and then punished. Someone speaking under oath, when you know that the consequences are punishment and you'll be delivered this way to the court and have to face the law for lying under oath. This is lying. So, yeah. Um, let me see here. Let me refill my water. Give me a second. Alrighty, let me see what else I can fish out of here. Let me see. So, let me see. I'm trying to see what you guys are saying. There's also where is okay, the stars are there. Garden is over here. Nope, that's not close. Where's house garden? Also 2 columns ahead of him where crossroads is. This column here. This one. So fish, fox, cross, birds, and crossroads up there. That's looking like there's a problem with some sort of network, and it has to do with business because the reward of financing is not there. And the organization itself is suffering significantly financially. And that, so I don't know, the stars is kind of far, so I don't know if this is in regards to Truth Social. It's a platform where you have an audience and it's suffering financially. But there's a decision and a lot of negotiations going on there. And that's another investigation that shows up here in this column. Because the investors are not happy. Bear in the house of cross, cross in the house of garden, followed by fish here. Decisions and meetings, suffering, punishment here, fraud, business. It's fraud within this network of people, something social. It suffers, and there's fraud here. So that also shows up 2 columns ahead. Because the investors are not happy. Bear in the house of cross. And there's something about the investors, they're suffering, that they want to break out of this agreement, and they're going to court this way. The law is getting involved. They want to break the agreement. False or a lie, betrayal, agreement, decision from the court, side from the house of what is this, Tower, but it breaks here, and then they're suffering financially here. So there's 2 columns ahead. There's something where there's a negotiation or a meeting, or it's the beginning of discussions where perhaps the investors of something huge and social, some sort of large platform that's a business where these people invested a ton of money, they're not happy, and they're trying to break that and go this way. Because commerce is ending here. I talked about the houses, ship in its own house, coffin in its own house, stars in its own house, fish in its own house, birds in its own house. Widespread losses in commerce, something on the internet that has to do with business, and people start negotiating or talking. Or like, hey, Johnny, or like the birds. If you want to look at it like metaphorically, birds, Twitter. So an option or an alternative to Twitter. So his Truth Social. That shows up 2 months ahead, where it looks like the investors are really going to try to break that agreement and recuperate something, because bear is down here and mice is up here. Money is missing, or resources and large amounts of financing are missing, diminishing. But the closer mice is, the better chance you have of recuperating. If mice is far away, you can't get back what is missing or stolen. Same thing with the cross. The closer the cross is, yes, you still suffer, but it's not as prolonged as if the cross were far away and out of reach, if I'm making any sense. So there's something with Truth Social that shows up down this column as well. So September, October, around November, quite possibly. But what concerns me is these 2 columns right here. This. Because this whole thing with the Department of Justice and the archives, because this here book knights here to Tower. Okay. So if you were to look at this, what is metaphorically, this is a book. This could mean a book, magazines. And this is an institution, a very large building. So an institution that has books. So a library, a college, a university. So in this case, it would be like the National Archives, which is kind of like a library. This would be like a library. That whole situation with the National Archives shows up here in these 2 columns: September, October, November, December, January, February, March, over here, with the whole situation with the classification documents. Book is sitting in house, snake. But we already talked about this. Like, there's something on thumb drives and it's missing and stolen. Book, metaphorically, we're looking at laptops, iPads, books, magazines, filing cabinets, filing folders. What else? Envelopes. No, that would be more like letter, because that would be associated with mail. So stuff that it was taken out and it's missing here, this way. The information got out and it's missing. We talked about this. Access here, answers, access. Key is sitting in house there. Access to power. This is energy. This is nuclear. These 2 here, energy, this would be more like satellites. This is more like images. Mice as a thing would be rodents. It would be a team of people working together. It would be your fox is more like spies. This is more like a team of people working together. Rodents, rats, rabbits, somewhere or something that is decaying or diminishing in some sense. This right here is like a lucky trinket or something small that brings you luck and opportunity that you can carry with you, but you can plug it into something and gain access. So there's information that may have gotten out that talks about how we link up or plug into access points, either through satellite this way, imaging this way, something out in space, nuclear. This is energy. This would be kind of like your grid. And like we talked about before, boxes, drawers, the bed, under the bed, closets, any closed off space. And this right here is an organizational chart, top to bottom. So there may be information that got out and is missing in regards to all of that. Perhaps an org chart of people, a team of people, access, or an org chart on how to access points electronically, like on a grid. This would be like an energy grid. That's what concerns me. Also with cross in the house of garden. We talked about the garden being a large group of people where you have an audience, suffering the country, because it's such a large body of people, and danger here. So, but there's paperwork in multiple properties. It's not just at Mar-a-Lago, and he'll get in trouble for that too. Because here it shows the change. This is the move, moving, documents, transferring, and then there's your multiples here. And this crossroads sits in house, multiple properties. If I look at house, because this is telling me there's multiple properties, if I look here and I'm trying to see what's around it, hot this way, water this way, large property, lot of water, a lot of water. This looks to be more residential and private. This one does. Hold on. This is also saying it's by a bay or where there's water around, like a bay. This is water, hot, beautiful and lush and extravagant, financial, but this house is in financial trouble though, this way. And then it sits on house woman. It sits on house woman. Also, Hold on. Man to letter to crossroads to Fox. The results of multiple results from the election fraud. Man results multiple fraud. Man paperwork, mail, documents, written correspondences, written communications, awards, certificates, licenses, anything like that, fraudulent here. And investigations into him. Fox sits in house, man. But the thing here is, when you want to find an exit out of trouble, you look at the crossroads. Because think of like driving down the highway, you can pick your exit sort of thing. You would look at crossroads. So what concerns me is it goes man to letter, crossroads to Fox. Fox is manipulative. It's cunning. It's a little weasel. So he's looking for options to weasel out. And it comes from the decision of this person that decides. Lily in the house Scythe, Scythe in house Tower. A legal decision from someone higher up and how they decide, and he's looking to get that way to weasel out. Now, I'm going back to the special masters question. Because this is a man. This is King of Spades, King of Clubs. The woman in this line shows up here, and she has a decision and a choice to make. She sits on house Child, younger and inexperienced. This is wise, older, mature. She sits on house Child, young, inexperienced. She has a decision to make. So this way it's showing delays, obstructions. The maturity is uncertain. Meeting or negotiating with a woman to achieve an answer for success, to get an out. That's this line across. Now, how will she, if this is the judge, because his current line is he's waiting on a judge to decide something that's going to favor him, a loophole of some sort of a friendly agreement to work in his favor. If you follow this line across, that could be that one Federalist Society inexperienced judge that's wanting to appoint a special master. How is she going to decide? Okay, so let's look at this. There's the decision over her head, the choice she has to make, her desire or her generosity. And then here, Tree is sitting in house 876 clouds. Growing problems, growing confusion, and something that's growing and blooming that's going to cause her a lot of problems. She's nervous. Birds, the closer it sits to you, it brings nervousness and anxiety. She's nervous about making this decision. She goes over here. She's far from Tower, but I can still get her to talk this way. She has aspirations and ambitions for more recognition and success in a higher court, a more prominent court, one up from where she's at right now. So nervous about the decision that she's going to make, and then suffering here. Decisions, nervous, suffering. Passionate woman, and then the news here. This is grounded and stable, and then success here. Energy, success, triumph, optimism. Sun is sitting in house crossroads. optimistic about her choice, a good choice, good opportunities as well, very successful opportunities for her. But she's got this here. And this is saying she's very nervous to make the decision in regards to this person with experience. Nervous in making the decision. And even when she's hearing something, when something is being communicated, she still doesn't understand. With clouds here, she's not understanding what is being expressed to her, perhaps from counsel. So how is she going to decide? It says that she's optimistic about her choice, a very successful choice. Let me see here. But then this way it's saying that whatever choice she makes, she will have to sacrifice something. And it's a sacrifice to a large organization of people. I believe the judge came from the Federalist Society. But she's nervous about making that choice. Okay, I get it. She's nervous. Which way does she go on the special masters? Which way does she go with the special masters? Let's say that this is the special masters, lilies. Experience, expertise, wisdom, maturity. So here's the obstruction and delays. The special master is uncertain. Nervous woman, or communicating that with the woman, or negotiating with the woman to achieve access to success. It's like, I'm wondering if she grants it to him, because if I follow this line here, it says she gives him access this way. And then remember what I said about crossroads? Crossroads gives you outs. The sun is sitting on crossroads. So I'm wondering if she's going to move forward with them. But, however, this is right now. This is September. If this is that judge in Florida, she doesn't show up till November, December, January here. So while she's sitting around waiting to make a decision, this card right here, the tree, is not fast. Anchor is not fast. She's not going to make a quick decision to appoint a special master. It does, if I'm interpreting this correctly, and this is that judge in Florida. I could be wrong. Okay. Not yet, Jenny. I could be wrong, but regardless of which way she chooses, Sun is in the house of crossroads. She gives him an out. However, it does not impede the investigation, because the fox sits down here. They're looking into him. This investigation is fluid and moves forward. It's followed here by fish. This is an action card. It continues to move. It continues to move at a very comfortable pace. The people on the team are well recognized. And with that, they find a new abundance of stuff that was missing before, if that makes sense. So she Knight's here to Clover. Clover sits on house mice. Mice is sitting below it. It looks like she's giving him an out if she decides to appoint a special master, or chooses to sit around and not quite yet make her decision. If this is that judge, she shows up 3 columns ahead. So it looks like 3 months, 2 to 3 months for her to make a choice, while she's sitting around twiddling her thumbs because she doesn't know what the hell is going on and is absolutely not knowledgeable on the law. She lacks the knowledge. Book sits in house, snake, woman knights to book. Knowledge, woman's knowledge, problematic, trouble, faults, lies. Okay. So while it appears to be an out, it's not really, if that's making any sense at all, because while she's deliberating what she's going to choose, the investigation itself moves forward with fish right underneath it. The investigation into Donald Trump, Fox in the House of Man. Okay. When she does make her decision, which shows up in this little box here, let me see here. It looks like she does give him an out, but it's already moving. This thing is already moving. And with the corners, it leads to new arguments. Arguments that are routine. Now, oh man. Also, in this line, on this line of influence, the decision that she's making will dwindle her success. That's another reason why she's hesitating. She's nervous here. She's doubtful here. She does not have the knowledge, nor does she have the expertise here. Her experience is doubtful. She's nervous, and then she sits on house child, inexperienced, young, naive. Okay. This is saying her choice, success is diminishing. This way here, someone that is super spiritual and religious, but she's going to have to make a sacrifice for loyalty this way. I am surprised that Trump has lilies sitting above him. That's surprising. Let's see here. Let me see. Wait a minute. Hang on. Okay, so her chain is woman to child to moon to lilies to scythe to tower, heart, tree, clouds, whip, ring, dog, letter, clover, mice, sun, crossroads, and house. That's her chain around. Woman, inexperienced, woman, new career. Maturity, she does not have it. Maturity, a mature decision. but her maturity is cut. She doesn't have the experience here. Mature decisions with law. Okay, so it's saying that she's inexperienced in her career, and she lacks the maturity for decisions with the law. A desire for her to grow, okay, brings problems and confusion. The arguments here, so she doesn't understand the arguments. She does not understand the law, okay, and there's going to be she is well aware that her choice is going to bring a lot of problems and a lot of criticism with the broom and whip. Okay. So she is well aware of that. The criticism, there is a promise of loyalty. Okay. And the results of that decision that she makes will decide if her opportunities diminish. So she needs to make a good choice that she's comfortable with. Does that make sense? But she's hesitating. She is hesitating. This says she's hesitating. This says she's nervous. This says she's not sure which way to go on this one. And at least she may not say it out loud, but she's inexperienced. And everybody around her knows that she's lacking experience. And they also know, she also knows that however she decides this, it's going to bring criticism to her. And she has a desire to climb up the ladder in her career with law, to move higher up, if that makes sense. And however she decides in this case is going to kind of serve for that. Now, I think I saw too, I forgot who it was. Was it Neil Katchian? Somebody somewhere was saying that she wasn't even a partner in her law firm when she was picked to become a federal judge, that she was just an associate. She was not a partner. So, you know, that's another thing with these Federalist Society judges and everybody that Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump put into office. They're not experienced. They're not even certified to be fucking dog catcher. You know, I mean, look at Brett Kavanaugh. I like beer, you know, like, so at least she's aware of that. Now, here's my question. Yeah, she screwed herself when she took the case. And now she's realizing, oh shit, I'm out of my element. Well, no shit. No shit, Sherlock. No shit, you're out of your fucking element. You know? No, she's a federal judge, Cheryl, appointed by Donald Trump, but she's very new and very inexperienced. And was it not Glenn Kirshner? I can't remember. It was Wiseman or Neil Katyal that were giving her brief history, and they were saying that she wasn't even a partner. She was just a regular associate at some law firm, and because she was part of the Federalist Society, you know, Mitch McConnell probably handpicked her and gave it to Trump, and he just put a Sharpie to paper and just put her on. You know, she doesn't have the experience at all. So can federal judges be impeached? Does anybody know? Federal judges appointed by previous presidents, can they be impeached? Federal judges can be impeached? I mean, yes, they can, because letter and scythe impeachment also charges this way with these two. So that might be another reason why she's you know, it's like she's wanting to have her cake and eat it too. She wants the limelight, but she doesn't want to make the wrong decision. But she put herself in here with the sun right there and the moon within reach. And then this way, She wants to achieve significant celebrity this way because of her own ambitions. Well, the chickens here with the birds are coming home to roost, and now she's realizing, oh, fuck. Okay, I got the limelight on me. And if I fuck up and I prove just how incompetent I am in regards to the law, here's impeachment and charges. And we were talking about charges earlier for whoever this person is next month, but also for her because it's close to her, if that makes sense. I can box her in like this, like that. So that may make her uncertain. And she herself is looking for a way out of the corner she painted herself into. Also, who was it? Was it Neil Katyal or Wiseman that were saying that there was, I forget the name of it. It's legal jargon and it's in Latin, but all of these lawyers, both Republican and Democrat, penned a letter to her, the judge in Florida, the female judge appointed by Trump, penned a letter to her saying that there is no need to put a special master's, the amount of national security problems that it's going to cause the United States, and all this other stuff. So it's like they had to tell her, you don't do this. You're going, not only is it a national security issue, you're going to stop the ODNI from moving forward to assess the level of damage that was caused by Trump stealing all these classified documents. So everybody, I forget how many they said wrote her a letter, but they sent her a letter. It was mailed to her and it was signed by a bunch of different people, a whole bunch of different lawyers and everything. So she wanted the limelight and she's shitting her pants right now. She's nervous and uncertain this way. Very nervous and uncertain. So there you go, Jenny. Thank you. The amicus brief. Jenny, how many people sent her that amicus brief? Because it was quite a few. So because clearly she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. Everybody had to remind her, oh, hey, by the way, you're a judge. You should be familiar with the law. Here it is, yeah, it was a lot of people that sent her that letter. I forget. I don't remember if Neil Katyal or Wiseman said how many, but yeah, she got put on notice. She did it. She took it upon herself, Prairie. She wanted right here, this way. It shows that she's trying to achieve significant celebrity. With the sun and moon, it's below her. It would be more favorable if it was crowning her up top. But this is huge rewards and accolades right here. She wanted celebrity and fame within a very religious, dogmatic society of people. Cross in the house of garden. So she was seeking fame and celebrity and to get her name out for her own ambitions here with Tower. If I read this double line of 4 here. Well, you done stepped in it, you dumbass. So that's what I got. That's what I got. So whoever this is next month, there may be charges coming for this person. I couldn't tell you who it is because I looked at it 8 million different ways. Someone with addictions that does a lot of drinking, that's very social, perhaps traveled or was doing something abroad, perhaps to do with extortion. Scythe in the House of Tower, this right here, impeachment, extortion, clouds right here. I don't know if this is Rudy Giuliani or somebody that may be charged next month, but they're Scythe in the House of Tower. There's a dangerous legal decision on this person. And then there's guilt right here. Also, where is Tower? So here we have ring, scythe, cross. Okay, ring sits in house dog. This person's going to get tied up. Metaphorically, this would be handcuffs. Scythe is a decision, a choice. Metaphorically, scissors, knives, gardening tools, anything sharp that you can cut, razors. And then here's guilt. This person next month, shit ton of trouble. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's charges and maybe a perp walk. Also for this woman as well. I don't know when that lands because she's showing up over here. But if I follow it this way, you know, so there's this woman and this might be Giuliani. I don't know. If I read it this way, this person traveled abroad. A lot of trouble here, something to do with extorting a government. There's an impeachment here. Changing the results for the transfer in elections this way. Here, let me see. This person was in agreement with many to delay and obstruct mountain ring dog, fish. This way, the health or growth of a woman, suffering or sacrifice, and then him. He knights here to snake. So it could be him and another person, woman, possibly dark hair, dark eyes with an S. Also a liar and in a lot of trouble. He visited somewhere or delivered a lot of stuff. Bootlicker. This way. Ass kisser. Very fraudulent though. Sneaky, sneaky. So I don't know if this is Giuliani but this person next month is in a lot of trouble. So also could have been at the rally because the garden sits right here. So a large group of people where you have an audience. So this person was at the rally quite possibly. And this person is sitting on house letter, the results, the mail, paperwork, documents. So they're in trouble next month. So I hope that was helpful. I got the notes here. So if I need to revisit this again, but yeah, Spanky can't weasel out of this one. Cannot weasel out of this one. He thinks this woman's able to help, but it doesn't happen immediately. And the investigation still moves forward. So, and even though she's a federal judge, she's going up against the ODNI. So I don't know if she's arrogant enough by the looks of this. She's nervous and doubtful this way about her experience. Because I can, since she's facing this way, I can use directionality. Woman, nervous, or she's confused about what she's hearing and doubts her experience, which causes delays or problems. So if he's looking to that judge for an out, it doesn't work because it keeps moving forward this way, if that makes any sense. So that's all I got. The line of fate is garden, fish. Let's see. There you go. So I was saying earlier, September, October, November. I don't know if you heard, Jenny. In November, there's something that may come up with an organization where they're wanting to discuss or negotiate something that has to do with something that is social because of fraud. And then here it's talking about something social that's a business. And then there's gifts and then the investors, but the investors are suffering. Okay. Bear in the house of cross. Cross sits up here in house garden. So there may be something coming up in November too, where we may start to hear more about the investors of Truth Social because they're suffering financially. And also what I was saying earlier about everything being in its own house. Ship is in its own house. Coffin is in its own house. Stars is in its own house. Fish is in its own house. Birds is in its own house. So this has to do with commerce. Fish down here is business and commerce. And then this is talking about widespread ruin and losses. So widespread ruin and losses with business and commerce. And then people negotiating and talking, if that makes sense. Okay. So, yeah, the investigations move forward. They're for the classified stuff. Here's the Fox, the investigation here. And it's not just that. You're still looking at the January 6th committee, because the committee's down here with Garden, and it falls in this cross is sitting on the house of the committee in Garden this way. So, and then you're looking at, we talked earlier, for those that are just checking in, Fannie Mae in, what do you call this? Georgia, Letitia James in New York, his two female lawyers that got their degrees from the freaking gumball machine. Just all sorts of trouble. But also it's like once after the elections happen, then it's like a whole bunch of other stuff comes out. But also the January 6th stuff as well, because there's referrals here. There's referrals. So, but I'm looking at these two columns: January, February, March, April, May, September, October, November, December, January, February and March of next year, with the whole classified shit. More stuff may come out around that next year. Cannot believe it. And she's also, this right here is saying that she's also very, 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 very nervous about the choices that she's going to make. She shouldn't have stepped in it. She shouldn't have freaking stepped in it. She should have just said, you know, because based on all these cards here, she was doing it for access to fame and publicity, these, and her own aspirations, hopes here, aspirations for fame, celebrity, and recognition here with the law to go up higher, if that makes sense. Well, now she's starting to doubt herself, and she's very nervous about the decisions that she makes and the consequences of her decisions, because she sits on house child, very inexperienced, very, very inexperienced. So, and if anybody's paying any attention to anything, you all know that every time Trump gets a lawyer, they all end up needing to get a lawyer themselves. So I'd be careful if I were her, the judge. So yeah, I'm not guaranteeing anything. So, because I got some stuff going on, I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I may try to come on again tomorrow night. It'll probably be around the same time, around 8 o'clock or so. So we shall see. Yeah, because here, she Knight's here to Moon, her fame, her honor, how she's recognized. Well, look what follows it. Mice, diminishes, takes away, and made small here. Are you following what I'm saying? So she fucked herself. I don't feel bad for her. I do not feel bad for her at all. when I say she, I'm talking about the judge in Florida that's hearing the case right now to appoint a special master to Trump's case about the classified documents. And I was listening to what was said in court before she said, well, I'm going to deliberate on it. They smacked her around. The federal prosecutors smacked her around so bad that it was like so embarrassing. They're basically, because Trump's lawyers, I guess the two other women from Mar-a-Lago, I guess they're taking a back seat, and Trump got another lawyer who he paid, I think they said 10 million or some ridiculous amount as a retainer. And the other two that he has that are the celebrity lawyers, the Bobs and whatever the hell the other lady's name is, they didn't speak at court. The man did. And so they were arguing these ridiculous points, and the federal prosecutors with the Justice Department basically smacked them around and put it in layman's terms for the stupid judge, saying that he's basically arguing for a special master's, where these documents belong to the executive branch. So he's arguing basically the executive branch against the executive branch. So the executive branch against himself, which he doesn't have that authority because he's no longer president. And then they had the main person that oversees the ODNI go in there and say a bunch of stuff. I mean, she painted herself into a corner, the stupid judge. You wanted fame and notoriety? Well, here you go. Now everybody can know what a freaking stupid dumbass you are and how unqualified you are. So, and go ahead and put the spotlight on yourself so we can clean house, So, especially if she associates herself with a corrupt person like Donald Trump, like anybody paying attention knows that everybody around him ends up with shit on their face, So what else? Okay, you guys. Well, I'm going to get off of here. It's 10:30. I'm going to go finish reading my little book. And I will try, not guaranteeing anything, but I will try to come back on tomorrow night and we'll look at some other people. Okay. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm not sure, lucky girl. I'm not sure. I can't give a time. So, all right, everybody, y'all have a good night and thanks for tuning in. Bye.